Welcome to Heal the World Show podcast, brought to you by the Healing Institute. I'm Parmelia Parham. I'm the founder and the CEO of the Healing Institute, and we are an online worldwide hub of holistic practitioners. We are out to heal the world. We do want to give people hope that there are ways for them to be well and stay well on their health journey. And each week on the podcast, I have a guest co-host that I invite to come and talk about their modality and how they help their clients, how their clients are helped by the work that they do. I have designed the Healing Institute because I am really passionate about creating a online and a proactive wellness society. I think we've been a reactive illness society for too long. We often say we have sick care, not health care. So we need to change that paradigm. We need to move that around. And I've been studying holistic ways of being well and using it myself for well over 20 years. So I know that it works. I wanted to let you know as well, the reason this is so important to me, having an online platform that's worldwide and we are spreading wellness and healing to the world, is because we did have a tragedy in our family a few years ago when my mom was 61 and she passed away due to an illness that it was a complication from a medication that she had been on for a very long time. And not once at all in all those years that she'd been on that medication did her doctor ever say that there could be one of the side effects could be kidney failure. So unfortunately, she passed away right before Christmas, December 15th. And I was 5 months pregnant with my son, my first child. And not only was it a tragedy that she died so young, but it was a tragedy because my children didn't get to meet their grandmother. And I don't want that happening for other families. I really want us to have the education around what research we should be doing when we are being offered a medication or with whatever healing modality that it might be. We need to take that responsibility as our own health responsibility and do the research that we need to do. I often say as adults, our gifts are what we got into trouble for when we were children. And I was always in trouble for being too sensitive and asking too many questions. But I don't think you can ever ask too many questions when it comes to your health. And so today I am just so delighted to have Jacqueline here. We're going to be talking about intuition and intuitive power. And I have to say that is one of my favorite subjects. So Jacqueline, welcome. It's wonderful to have you here today. Tell our audience a little bit about you and what's, the intuition, why is that important to you?
Wow, that's a big one. Well, I am the founder of the Cosmic Light Academy. I've been teaching intuition, creativity, psychic development for over 45 years. I opened my first training center in Los Angeles in 1982, and I had a radio talk show for 8 years, so I had a large reach. So thousands and thousands and thousands of people came through the training center. And my background was I grew up, I did not have any particular awareness of intuition or psychic phenomena or any voices or guides or anything. And I didn't really know that I needed any or feel like I was missing out. I had a pretty average, normal growing up, but I was always a little curious, and synchronicities, interesting, unusual synchronicities always happen. So I was curious. I was given a tarot reading as a birthday gift from one of my sisters when I was in my 20s. I think I was about 20, I must have been about 25. And I just broken up with a relationship. I was heartbroken and confused. And the reading just really fed my heart, answered my questions, helped me heal. And I ended up another hour talking to the woman, and she said, time's up. Come to class. And she had classes. She was an Avon lady. She had tarot class, or not tarot classes, regular spiritual classes once a week at her house. She turned out to find out she was a real trance medium. And what that means is when she was teaching us meditation, she would, we were in a completely black room. All the lights were turned off, and she, close your eyes, take some calming breaths, start to walk down a pathway, see flowers and colors and all this, and take us on little imaginary journeys. And that would be an hour thing. But during that hour process, her voice would change usually 2 or 3 different times. And if you opened up your eyes, it was like there was a holographic projection on her. If it's a little Oriental voice, it would look like a little woman in a kimono. If it was a big booming voice, it could look like an 8-foot tall Atlantean, who knows what. And sometimes messages would come through that were, gosh, there's no light shining here. Sometimes somebody's coming through the window. Look, the light is coming in.
Yes, absolutely. It showed up right on time.
So anyway, that got me not only curious, it was weird, and but she wasn't asking us to do anything. It was just contribution, $5-10 a week, whatever it was. That was back in the 70s, I think. Yeah. So I learned a lot meditating, and then she had to move away 2 years later. But in the summer, she would take breaks, and there was a UCLA class, a class at UCLA, University of California. And during the summer, it was experimental class on ESP. And I was just always curious. I never thought, oh, I've got it. Let's refine this stuff. I was just curious. So following your curiosity, if it seems positive, not necessarily the dark side, but like what's possible? What is possible with, I mean, you could go into Darth Vader, but I don't choose that. It's actually as or more powerful to do, or rewarding, I think, to do the light work. So I went to the UCLA class. It was 6 weeks, and there were about 85 people there. And I would say about 85% of the people were able, not 85, 100% of the people were able to be anywhere from 80 to 100% accurate on the answers that they were getting. And I was very, very accurate. And what I found was the program that they taught us to get different results, to do remote viewing, to see at a distance, to tell what's in the box, and different types of exercises. That the things that we learned at UCLA were more scientifically languaged, as opposed to the things that I learned with Reverend Marla Oliver in the spiritual class with this trance medium was more spiritually based, but it was the same thing. So in that class, we learned psychometry, holding an object. We would pass an object, take off a ring or a bracelet or a watch or car keys, hand it to the next person. And then we were taught how to do the readings. And so that like struck a chord in my mind. Right. It's the same thing, but it's just different language, the spiritual and the science or the metaphysics. And
now, of course, they've married the two, so we get lots of spiritual, scientific. 2018 we had a science and spirituality conference here on Vancouver Island, where I live. And when I was all excited about it, because of course the people that were coming to it were the people that I read their books, like Bruce Lipton and Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, and people were saying to me, well, that doesn't go together, science and spirituality. I said, oh, yes, it does. So I love the fact that it's kind of come full circle now, right? That we now have that marriage, I like to call it a marriage of science and spirituality, because to me, makes way more sense for it to be together. Yeah.
So here's what happened. My teacher moved away, and I was just thirsty. It's like, I need to know. I don't know what I need to know. I just need more. And there was this unquenchable thirst, and I didn't even really know about the Bodhi Tree bookstore in Los Angeles that was famous for a while. And so I went into meditation. I went to a psychic fair. The quick story was, out of 36 people, I picked this guy, Dr. Thomas, 6 foot tall, 6'2", 3-piece white suit, loud 3 questions. At the end, I said, I don't think he answered the first question. He looked at me, he goes, well, your spirit guides are on the warpath. That's a whole nother story. I don't think that's an answer. He answered again. He goes, I said, I don't really think that's an answer. And he goes, go home and meditate. You will get your answer. That is your answer. This reading is done. Leave my table. So I grabbed my friend and we went home, and I said, I got to go home. And I went home, first time expecting an answer through my meditations, going in with a clear question and expecting an answer. So that's a key for people. Meditation is really, really critical for accelerated advanced development and really balancing yourself out on a daily basis. I've developed a program called The Art of Meditation, and it's a CD downloadable recording. And the difference with my meditation trainings and other people's is I give people 3 minutes of actual silence, because all the gurus, they go into the silence. That's where your answers are. So I explain what the silence is. It's like a drop of water. It evaporates. And we think, oh, there's water, but now there's nothing there. There's nothing. Well, the molecules are here in the room, expanded, so we can't see it. It's unmanifested, but it's here is the potential. If we could create condensation and create and grab those molecules and put it back together, we go, oh, look, here it is. That's a 30-second synopsis of manifestation.
Yeah.
There's oneness, there's everything that there is in the potential of every breath we take, every thought every second that we live is potential in the ethers. And you can't conceive of the idea unless it's a possibility. So if you can conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it. So in my journey, I ended up taking and then studying Walter Russell, which was Universal Law of Science and Philosophy. That's a whole nother story. I always get my book. I always refer people to this book, The Man Who Tapped the Secrets of the Universe, by Walter Russell. And he was a major influencer and creative genius, unbelievable. He said, if you really know yourself to be one with God, there's nothing you can't do brilliantly. And then he went on to demonstrate it. Artist, musician, composer, architect, scientist, created a complete table of elements in 1926 that was still accurate today. He had stuff that was anyway, I ended up studying his year-long home study course and then teaching it, and then being asked to teach it. But over my next teacher, through that psychic reading, how guidance happens was, there was a woman that started working in my office. I was working in the film industry in Los Angeles, and film distribution. And this woman started working in my department, and she was teaching me tarot during lunch. And we would have conversations about spirituality and things. And she heard that I was taking these classes. Well, she was pretty advanced. And she said, are you coming to the lecture tonight? And I said, what? No, okay. So we walk out the door. I go to this lecture. It's at Dr. Thomas Institute of Metaphysics, other end of town, the guy that gave me the reading. said, go home and meditate and you'll have your answer. And Patricia Rochelle Deagle, Reverend Patricia Rochelle Deagle, who is also a doctor of metaphysics, and 3/4 of a chiropractor, was there, and she had a whole cosmology. She gave the lecture, and I was hooked. And she was a reincarnationist. She taught people how to remember their past lives, how to accelerate their spiritual growth through working in a trinity, groups of 3 people where we merge mind, higher level, not the thinking subconscious level, but where the creativity, awareness, intuition is. And then as you start to work in the 3s, the 3 people working together as one unit, synergy takes over and you have more light or awareness.
It's so amazing when that happens, when you have more than one person. Lynn McTaggart does her circles of 8, which is, it could be a circle of 5 or it could be a circle of 7. It doesn't matter. But that's what she's now been doing that. She was one of the people that came to our Science and Spirituality conference back in 2018. And so we learned about how sitting in a circle with other people, the power that with the accumulation of all of our senses and our intuition. And that was, probably when I was just starting to really believe my intuition. I always knew I had something. And similar to you, I studied under and found an energy teacher probably 25 years ago now, and studied under her for 8 years. And I knew I knew things. I just didn't have the language for it. And so she gave me the language. She helped me with the language of vibration and healing and intuition, and to tap into what I already knew. I just didn't know what to call it. And I think so many people are like that. They have a knowing. They have this something that they are tapping into, but they're not quite sure about it. And so the work that you do, and certainly your journey, it's really very important. I believe we all have intuition. That was the big aha for me. Oh, everybody. I sort of I compare it to a muscle now. You have to use it to, or you'll lose it, just like your muscles. So the more you use your intuition, the more you can tap into your intuition and believe your intuition.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with that. The more that if you don't use it, you lose it. It's still there.
Well, that's true. You don't ever lose it. That's right.
And so there's muscle memory there.
Yeah.
And you can deny it, but you can't stop the flow. It can go underground. It can come through a different way. And this is where the 3 terms, creativity, intuition, and psychic energy, are all the same energy. But people go, when I ask in a group talking to maybe 30 people or 100 people, whatever it may be, I'll say, how many of you are creative? And how many people are intuitive? Less hands go up. How many psychic? Less hands go up. And I said, guess what? If you raise your hand, how many didn't raise their hand at all? Leave the room. No, but just kidding. But all of those 3 are the same energy, but people deny it. Like, I don't want to be psychic, or I don't want to, or I'm not, because they have expectations of what that is. And so we're creating, every time we brush our hair, we decide how it's going to look, or if you put on makeup, how it's going to be. You're being an artist. Or if you go into, if for men, if you don't wear makeup and you don't wear that, it's like you ask the barber, cut it this way. That's creative. Which shirt am I going to wear today? That's creative. If you look at it that way, how are you cooking? How are you putting the food on the plate? That could be your art. Every moment of your life is creative and is artistic. It's how you express yourself. And as you embrace that concept of I am creative, I am this, it empowers you, because believe you can and you
Mhm.
will.
Yeah.
And so that's, I believe I can find the perfect mate. I believe I can resolve my issue with my family. I believe that I can manifest whatever it is that your heart's desire is, and you start making a plan, sometimes getting a coach to help you niche it down and find accountability. One of the things I do for one of the fastest transition is I teach people how to bend metal with their mind.
Oh,
And
yes, yes, show us that.
and and so this is actually physically not possible to do with physical strength. It takes
Mhm.
400 to 800 pounds of pressure per square inch. I get into science to accomplish something like this, to buckle the bowl of a spoon. Yet people can do it in a class that I teach, a spoon bending PK party, which started as a research project with the space program. And look at that curl.
Yeah.
So you can't just melt metal with your hand unless you know how to use phenomena. And this metal would crack. Doesn't matter how strong you are. But with the phenomena, you pull in energy, you learn how to amplify it, you learned how to focus it. Focus, how could focus help anybody in life? Yeah.
Oh,
And
yes.
how to focus it. And then the most important part that adults have the biggest problem with is let go.
Letting go.
To
Absolutely.
release
Yeah.
it. And it's like pull back the arrow and let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. And you let it fly. And that's when the phenomena then starts to happen. And so we teach that in anywhere from 2 to 4 hour class. We're doing it on Zoom thanks to COVID, and it's still working. I thought we had to do it in person. So I'm still learning, and we're still stretching the parameters of what is possible. So I teach a class called Intuition Power.
Intuition power training. Awesome. Fabulous. Thank you for
And it's
sharing that.
10 module thing, and I work with a blueprint, and the blueprint looks like this. It's 9 squares, and it's overlays of step by step, and they're all overlays, and it gets more and more complex. And we have levels of the mind. We have
Mm.
um,
Mhm.
levels of the mind, and we have uh, evolution of consciousness. We have astrology, numerology, palmistry, all the esoteric sciences, how to develop a business, practical application. Everything follows the same universal pattern of development and evolution. And so with teaching people how to sit in trinities and accelerate their clearing, balancing their physical body, and balancing and clearing and healing their emotions from present and past, relationships with parents.
Mhm.
A few people have had fabulous relationships, fabulous parents, but a lot of people's upbringing had been messed up
Yeah.
or influenced with a challenge. So all of those things are filters in your subconscious mind.
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
the creative flow has to come through for us to be able to talk about it, walk about it, put anything in the physical world. It comes from the spiritual, then it goes through the mental level, then it comes through the emotions, and then it can manifest physically. So this class takes people through step by step by step, an acceleration program of clearing, and the exercises themselves that take anywhere. The longest one is 15 minutes, which is meditation. Usually the exercises take about 1 to 3 minutes or
Wow.
less.
Yeah.
And so week by week, we take people through this development blueprint to refine, to help them activate and refine their intuitive abilities from all of the 5 senses, in fact, 6 senses of seeing, tasting, touching, hearing, and knowing. See,
Knowing.
taste,
Yeah.
touch, feel, see, taste, touch, smell, and hear. And then knowing. So
And
that
knowing.
and so and we like to have fun. You learn the most when you were playing games. And
Yes.
so we take people through playing, but at the end of the 10 module program, which can be self-driven on your own schedule. But then I show up to take people through exercises and answer questions. So it absolutely is life transforming. Once I call myself I'm a concierge of the Cosmic App Store.
I love that.
In my class, I help people download the apps, the different abilities, and I walk them through the basics, and I take them through test runs and show them if they're a little bit off, how to refine that skill. And then we put them in the background and they're running in the background. You don't even know it. And when you need it, all of a sudden it pops up and it's activated for you. So it's life changing. It's there for the rest of your life. And so that was a long thing to what do I do besides a whole other career of healing, doing energy work.
Well, it's just fascinating. I'm so fascinated by your story, which my background is similar, not the same, but because I did take some metaphysical courses, and of course I had the opportunity to study under this one teacher. I just call her my energy teacher, but she looked at color, a lot of color. Her business was called Color Touch Therapy. And so we did a lot of getting our chakras in balance, and in our electromagnetic
field, right?
Field, not just those images where there's 7 chakras from your crown chakra to your root chakra. This went out in our electromagnetic field up to many series of vibrations. And so that was, I love the idea of what you're teaching and your course that you've offering, because when we tap into our intuition, when we tap into what we have, that knowing that we have, it just makes our lives so much better, more joyful.
1,000%, not even 100%, 1,000%.
Yeah, 1,000%. And I loved what you said earlier about adults having a hard time letting go, because we think we need to control it. And as soon as we learn that we don't, I often say about the Healing Institute that I had an idea as my finite brain. I live on Vancouver Island on the west coast of Canada, and it's a lovely area. It's very well known for its psychic intuition and vibration that's here. A lot of us who are in this, in the health and wellness and in the psychic area, there's a lot of people who live here because we're drawn here to be here. And
I almost immigrated when I was 20 up to Vancouver, and I took a tour to Vancouver Island, the Whidbey and a bunch of the islands there.
Yes, Whidbey Island's beautiful too. Well, and when the Science and Spirituality Conference that I referenced earlier, when it came, we were like, and I used to be an event planner, so that was me with my event planner hat going, well, why didn't they pick Victoria? That's got a bigger conference center. Why didn't they pick Vancouver's got a bigger conference center? Like, why are they coming to Nanaimo, which is a smaller conference center? But they told us, the organizers told us, it was because of this energetic vortex that we have in the middle of the island. So when you know about that and you can tap into that, and then just, so what I was saying earlier was, I was thinking that I would have a building here in my small city, and it would be available for energy work or anybody who would be interested doing, yoga retreats or workshops. But then when the pandemic hit, that was in the fall of 2019. And when the pandemic hit in 2020, I then started to meet holistic practitioners all over the world on networking platforms. So, Zoom networking platforms. We never had those before the pandemic, or if they did, we did. I wasn't aware of them. And so I go, well, I think God had a bigger idea. We're going to do this globally, and we're going to do it virtually. We don't need to do it in person, because as you were mentioning earlier, our energy is energy. And
Right.
we're learning that we can do so many modalities, healing modalities over Zoom because it's here.
Right.
The energy is here.
And not to undermine the power of touch,
Mhm.
power of the I think the 6 foot rule was kind of evil.
Yeah.
The energy field, we work off each other. We
Yes,
support each other
absolutely.
energetically, even just passing by. And the other aspect of it is there are a whole bunch of people. I moved to Reno, Nevada, where I am now, and there are so many people that are very, very sensitive in Reno, but they're oversensitive, and
Mm.
it's not a good because they can't walk. We have some phenomenal uh, restaurants
Mhm.
that are in the casinos, some of the major,
Oh, yes, right. Mhm.
and they can't walk through a casino. They can't go to a
Yeah.
huge, like a Costco, a large shopping mall, Walmart, not that you wanted to, but they physically can't because it's physically painful. I don't have any trouble walking through casinos, sitting at a table. If I want to throw some money down and win some money because I intuitively can, it's like, oh, walk by, tug, do this. Okay. I just paid for my dinner. Thank you so much. You know,
Well, I can understand that because I've only been to Las Vegas once, and I just started on my energy learning journey, and the hotel that we stayed in, now I know the new hotels, the casino, all of the machines and everything are right there. This was an older hotel. I can't remember the name of it, but you had to walk into another room. And I literally could not walk through that doorway, because there was just like this dark curtain that came down. And
yeah.
when I came home, I said to my energy teacher, okay, what was that all about? And she said, well, that was dark energy, and you were being told not to go there. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay.
Sometimes not to scare people. Sometimes it's not dark energy. Sometimes it's just a lot of negativity. It's just
Yeah.
sometimes something, it's like um sometimes it's just stinky. You go into a barn and there's horse shit and it's just stinky, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and that stuff is good fertilizer. Understanding, understanding what the energy is, how it where sometimes people go, oh, it's dark energy. It's just like a lot of negative pain and stuff, and it could be whatever, but sometimes it's just the lighting, it's just the frequency that's there,
Frequency. Yeah.
and everything is frequency. So it's really important to empower people with understanding today. And so the blueprint that I work with in the 10 module program that I teach, there's a when I started teaching it, my teacher said I was supposed to be given the instruction manual. It's like, I've got the class starting in like 2-3 weeks and nobody has the instruction manual. You said so and so, and they said da da da. Now, what am I supposed to do? Well, you've been through the course 3 or 4 times. Let's pull. There's always a reason, was what her response was.
Mm. Right.
Bring all of your notes from the courses that you took and let's go over it. And she sat with me and helped me recreate the course. And she said, wow, it obviously needed to be recreated because we didn't have the blueprint when we created the course, and now we have the blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
And you have learning to see auras in the second class. We should put that in class number 9. Here's why. And even though it's the easiest thing, within 1 week I could have anybody seeing auras. But and that's with a 5-minute exercise once a day. Very easy, but once you learn to see it, you don't know what it means. So what
That's right.
is
Yeah.
that? And so as we go through dermo optics, being able to feel colors with
Mm-hmm.
your hands,
Mm-hmm.
with eyes closed. As I started teaching this, I had a series of blind people come through the class. One lady was getting her PhD in music at UCLA, and she was blind from birth. And
Amazing. Yeah.
yeah, when we got to that part of the class, you learn your homework is to feel colors and what color is this, what color is this, what color is this, and like this feeling is very different than this feeling. And there's exercises we give people, and so she was walking around, all of her friends, what color is this, what color is this? Well, what do you care, you're blind, like what do you care? She's just, obviously I know that, just tell me what color this is.
Yeah.
And she was able to start to feel the colors, so she knew,
Beautiful.
what her colors were and what she was wearing and all that. And then when we started to get into past lives, she was sitting in some Trinity work and courses, and she was doing past lives and remembering them. And we did this in Trinities in groups of 3. And all of a sudden I hear this group that she was in, they start crying and screaming. I ran over as the instructor, what's going on? I was in a past life and tears are streaming down her face. I saw myself in a past life, and I was standing on the edge of a meadow. I've been blind from birth, but in this experience, I saw the blue sky. I saw the green pasture. I know what the colors look like now. I never saw colors in my life. And the whole class, like,
yes, that's why, for sure.
and
Absolutely.
I was in a TV special interviewing me about the reincarnation past life work that I was doing. I focused on that for like 20 years out of the 45 years I've been teaching. And I integrate it when it comes up for people. Because I was trained by Mystic Masters, and this group of people that came in said, we'll teach you everything we know in 3 years, because we're going to teach you how to merge minds at a higher level. And here's the Trinity process. And once you do that, you're going to merge with us. You'll have all our information. So I was dramatically changed for the rest of my life in a short period of time. And I've had the opportunity to do that with other people. If they're just interested, they show up, we have a couple conversations, and so I'm just starting to roll out that program again through the Cosmic Light.
Beautiful. Yeah.
.org. And
well, we've actually come to the end of our 30 minutes, a little bit over, but that's okay. But I think we need to have you come back and talk some more.
Your work is so important that you're doing, both where you live and through these broadcasts, and just thank you for having me here, and thank you for sharing the light. It's the most important thing to do on the planet right now. Wake people up and help them stabilize in their own self-empowerment.
I agree 100%, 200%, 1,000%. And Jacqueline, one of the reasons I called the Healing Institute an institute is because I'm really passionate about educating people, giving that knowledge, just like you've been doing your whole life, giving that knowledge and that information to people, and then they can take on what it means to them, and then they can understand why certain things are happening to them. Just a quick around past lives, I had always believed I was here before, even as a very young child. And when I first met my energy teacher, she was having workshops, and I walked into the very first workshop that I was going to work with her, and there was a classroom. It was a classroom of probably 20, 25 people, and everybody believed in past lives. And I was like, oh, I found my tribe. I found my people. It was so honoring to know that, because I had a wonderful upbringing and I had a great family, but they didn't, I often say they didn't really get me, because I was, I just wasn't they didn't understand what
there's your physical family, and then there's your spiritual family.
Exactly. And we have to find our spiritual family.
We'll have to schedule a part 2 and focus on that.
Yes, I think we will. Absolutely. So thank you so much for being my guest co-host today. The information that you've imparted has just energized me for sure. And I just want people to know, I'll put in, we don't really have show notes on the Zoom, but I'll make sure that people will know how to get in touch with Jacqueline. And also, yes, there you go.
Intuitionpower.com.
Intuitionpower.com. Perfect. So, you know, my vision is to create a community of expert health practitioners. We customize your whatever your unique healing that you need, the health pieces that you need. The holistic practitioners on the website, it's not a one size fits all. They look at what you need specifically and then design that for you. Our motto is service with love. We truly believe that we are here to serve, and we are to make the world help make the world a better place. And you know, each week you get to meet another amazing healer, and you got to meet Jacqueline today. So thank you everyone for being here today, and we look forward to seeing you next Friday on Heal the World Show podcast.
Bye.